Bomb1st and John Hyland, aka Gullible John, knew the truth, but instead chose to ride the lies of Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Let's get into some of this straight game.
Blackjack. Life is like some cards. It's not what you dealt, but how you play it. Play each situation correctly. I remember they used to laugh at a brother.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. It's your boy DELRAY, Richardson, platinum artist, platinum songwriter, Straight Game TV. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate your time. Hit the thumbs up button. Also, subscribe to the channel. Like I always say, if you want to be one of the first people notified when I drop some of this game, Straight Game, please do me a favor and click on what appears to be that little bell notification right below this video. I'm going to get right into it. Ladies and gentlemen, when someone knows the truth about something, right, and they choose to disregard the truth when they were told the truth by someone who was actually there to witness what actually happened, and they choose to disregard the truth, then you call that deception. And it's willful deception when they know the truth and they choose not to address it when being told something different from what they know the truth is. It's a sort of willful ignorance, if you will, but not really, because they're truly informed about what's going on, but they choose to deceive the listener, the person, the people, or whichever you want to choose it to be, right? Look at this right here. You see this video right here? As you can see, this is a video or interview that was done by Gullible John over at Bomb1st. And he interviewed Frank Alexander. In this interview, Frank Alexander was unambiguous. He was truthful. He was calm. He was honest. And he addressed it with the class and dignity of a guy who was really there trying to explain what happened, right? With no dog in the fight. I want you to watch this video right here from 1 hour, 1 minute and 49 seconds to 1 hour, 2 minutes and 38 seconds. That's 1 hour, 1 minute and 49 seconds to 1 hour, 2 minutes and 38 seconds. And in this video, you're going to hear Frank Alexander explain what actually happened at the MGM Grand in regards to somebody coming up, whispering in 2Pac's ear, what happened before, and what actually happened. And when Frank Alexander explains this, Frank Alexander's not trying to prove anything. It was the question that came from Gullible John in reference to people trying to use Frank Alexander as a scapegoat. Now, when Gullible John asked this question, he poses it as if, I'm asking you this because I'm just getting, I'm asking you this question not to be argumentative, but to try to, get the answer from you in case somebody else comes with something different from that perspective. Well, somebody did come with something different. And his name is Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. But when you listen to the video from the point where I told you to listen to it from, you're going to hear Frank simply say what happened. Right? There was no reason for him to lie, anything like that. But when Gullible John sat down with Reggie the Rat Wright Jr., who wasn't there? Mind you, he wasn't there. Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. tried to convince everybody that Tupac had overheard something being said in a group of people, not something whispered in his ear, but overheard something within a group of people. Now, first of all, Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. wasn't there. So anything that he would be saying in reference to that would be pure hearsay. Pure hearsay. So you can't really take his word for it. He wasn't there. Whatever somebody may or may not have told him, according to what he's saying and trying to explain, is irrelevant. The person whom Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. should have been listening to in regards to anything that happened that night was Frank. Remember, Frank was his employee because Frank still worked for Right Way Security in the reference of working for Death Row. Tupac had fired Reggie as his personal security. We know that, right? On August 27th. But on that night, Frank still worked for Right Way Security, and Right Way Security was still employed by Death Row, right? So when it came to listening to anybody in regards to what had happened that night, and Frank telling Gullible John in this video, the very channel that Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. gets on each and every day and pushes lies and conspiracy theories and slanderous and venomous comments and things like that, the person he should have been listening to was Frank. That was his employee. This is the phony part and the deceiving part about Reggie the Rat Wright Jr., because he would then go on to say that, no, not from what I heard. I heard that, the homies was talking and Pac overheard it and Pac chose the X, Y, and Z. But that's not what Reggie the Rat Wright Jr.'s employee said. Why wouldn't he want to listen to Frank? Because Frank was right there standing next to Tupac and pulled Tupac off of Orlando Anderson, as he says in the video. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm trying to get you to understand something. Gullible John knew this because this video was done released approximately 7 years ago. Right? There's a part even in this video where Gullible John asks Frank Alexander a question, and Gullible John says in the video that I'm not going to play this one. I'm not going to release this to the public. But he still released it to the public. You understand what I'm saying? So, having the knowledge of what Frank Alexander said, then going back and choosing to ride with Reggie or partner with Reggie or whatever they do, Gullible John and Reggie the Rat Wright Jr., knowing the truth, and would let Reggie continuously repeat this lie in Reggie the Rat Wright Jr.'s trying to control the narrative and get people to believe that he knew what happened at the MGM Grand. This is not the first time he's done that. He did the same thing once again, even with that, in trying to tell Frank, yo, just say that Orlando snatched Tupac chain. You got to understand that there's a certain type of arrogance. There's a certain type of snake. There's a certain type of demon. There's a certain type of low down individual that would do stuff like that. And then Gullible John, to know that Frank gave him the interview, which is over an hour long, talking about everything willfully, freely, without any stuttering, without any stammering, talked about the letter that he got, thought that he was fired. He talked about all of that. Gullible John knew this. He did the interview. So when he sits up there and lets Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. lie and talk about, well, I didn't get the interview and I didn't know, he knows. He knows. And so therefore is the deception played out on the people who are listening, and once again, Reggie trying to shape the narrative, even that narrative, and where he wasn't even there to see what happened. Today they did a live. Somebody passed it off to me. And Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. was asked about whether he looks at my videos. He was like, I don't even look at his videos. We all know that's a lie. He just did a video of a few videos back talking about me. The damn near the whole video he was talking about me. But the reason why he denied it in the live that they did today, saying, DELRAY, I don't even watch his videos. DELRAY Richardson, I don't even watch his. You know why he said that? He said that so that if anybody asked him a question about one of the videos that I put out, he could deny even seeing it. I don't know. I would have to go watch it to see. He knows. Now he's playing dumb because the truth is being revealed and he knows it's being revealed and he has no answer for it. So now all of a sudden, I don't even go over there and watch his videos or nothing like that. That's what he said. Ladies and gentlemen, like I said before, you've been lied to. You've been had. You've been led astray. You've been given misstatements and lies in regards to this whole situation that Gullible John over at Bomb1st, better known as Bomb1st, in which they stole the name from 2Pac's first song off the Machiavelli album. You see what I mean? Just everything, thievery, lies, deception, the whole 9 yards, if you will, right? So when you understand that John knew everything and then let Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. come back and come up with these bullshit ass lies as to what Frank meant, 1 minute when Reggie wants to use some stuff out of Frank's book, then it's all the truth. Then another minute when Frank, in the Frank's in his book, he has a chapter he was talking about called Scapegoat, right? And them trying to, use him as the scapegoat. And he explained all of it. Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. knew about all of that. That's the reason why he was so mad at Frank and still talks greasy about Frank even after his death. Because the truth has never been a friend of Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. He always has had to lie. For the reason he's a convicted felon. For the reason he's a convicted money launderer. Right? Lying, cheating, stealing. That's his thing. Right? But when you listen to that interview, you're going to get it. You're going to be like, oh, wow, Frank basically said what happened. And so why didn't you, the question you got to ask yourself, well, why didn't Reggie just take what Frank said? Frank was there. He was standing next to 2Pac. Why would he get on the internet and then come up with these crazy ass stories that somebody allegedly told him, right? Other than the person that he hired to do the job that he said he wanted him to do when he was saying publicly that he wanted Frank to get the grand jury subpoena and go and testify to the truth. But then on the flip side, he was calling Frank on the phone, talking about if you duck the subpoena and don't get subpoenaed, everything should be cool. Lying and deception. But this one right here is different because once again, Reggie wasn't there. Why even speak on something about something that you weren't there to witness, even if somebody else told you something in regards to that, which they probably didn't. Other than the person who was hired to guard 2Pac that night, from that perspective, Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. chose not to believe not a word that Frank Alexander said. And then after it all happened, he told Frank he told him, you should leave town. Right? Trying to create that actual scapegoat in Frank by leaving that Frank talked about in his book. So when you understand that and you get it, you'll be like, okay, cool. I get it. I get it now. Or I get a little bit more of it now. The only person that Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. was supposed to be listening to was his employee, the person that he was paying, according to him, Or was it him, or was it everybody being paid by Death Row? Because that's a new story that came out lately. You know, Tupac didn't fire me. Death Row was paying my check. Right. When he said that, yeah, but I didn't need that $300 or $400 extra from Tupac that I was getting from guarding him privately. Once again, it's one story. When it's working, it's another story when it's not working. And so, like I said, when you listen to that interview, you're going to get it. You're going to be like, well, damn. The question you got to ask yourself is, why didn't Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. just listen to Frank? Because the truth has never been Reggie the Rat Wright Jr.'s friend. It never. Your boy DELRAY, straight game.